Hello, hello, hello. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween to you, Dylan Bowser. Nice to see you. Welcome to the show. Pull up a chair, pull up a seat, get ready for a trick and maybe a treat. We're just doing some solo stuff today. Okay, we're gonna go over a little bit of the news, things that's been happening in the world. Developments, if you will, in the ongoing shit show that is this nation at this point in time. And just basically taking your calls if you guys want to call in. It should be a fun time, and I hope everyone enjoys it. And look, it is Halloween. So make sure to, if you have kids, let them go trick or treating, okay? Let them go knock doors. Let them go get some yums, okay? I remember back in the day when I was young, that was like my favorite holiday, okay? I would go out, I would go to the neighborhoods, either my neighborhood or maybe a friend's neighborhood. We'd go to their neighborhood, whatever, maybe both on the blessed days, okay? On the days when the weather was great and everything was nice, and we'd be in costumes. I'd be like some sort of spooky thing, and we'd knock the doors. It was just a great time, okay? After I was like 8, I was allowed to do it without my parents, and so me and my buddy would just go on our own, and that was good. That was good times too. I don't know. I don't see many Halloweeners anymore. Now, keep in mind, I was on a military base for a lot of my adult life, so you know, probably a different culture of trick or treating there. Perhaps. And where I'm at now, we don't get really any trick or treaters either. I'm in a very rural area. Um, no one really comes by. And that's kind of sad to me. I don't know. I like the communal spirit of the holiday, right? I think at its best, Halloween is one of the more kind of communal holidays where everyone gets together, goes and talks to their neighbors, even if it's just to say trick or treat, what great costumes you have, here's some candy. Okay? Um I don't know. Do people still do that anymore? If you have kids, let me know. Zero Fox says, I thought you were going MAGA for Halloween. Look, I thought about it, but I don't have the proper attire, unfortunately. I have a shirt. I wasn't able to get a hat. I wasn't able to get some accoutrements, okay, that I would be needing. So it'd just be me with some fight shirt. And thought that was kind of lame for a costume. So I decided not to. Last year I was a skeleton, a spooky skeleton, if you guys remember. For those of you who were here last year. Chapingro, hi all. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween to you. Happy Halloween to you as well. Okay. But yeah, today we are doing call-ins and such. And let me get you guys that server link. Hold on. Loop, 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 loop. The scariest thing I've seen, 1099 forms. Hell yeah. Let me pin this. Got a couple things to talk about before I start pulling y'all in, but that's how you do it, gang. You click that link, you accept the rules, and you jump backstage. And I will pull you in, and we will talk whatever it is that you wish to talk. And it should be a fun time. Going low key tonight, but we'll see, right? I say that sometimes. Like I say, like, okay, today's just gonna be a chill day. We're gonna do some chill streams. We're gonna relax. We're gonna have some fun, and then it turns into crazy yelly screaming match. So we'll see. But I don't plan on that today. I wanted to talk though. Initially, have you guys seen the Tucker Carlson interview with Nick Fuentes? Are you guys aware of that at least, if you haven't seen it? or maybe you just saw a clip, maybe you just heard of it. But recently, I want to say last week, maybe the week before, Tucker Carlson, one of the largest podcasters, one of the largest platforms on the right, had Nick Fuentes on, and they had a cordial discussion where they discussed all sorts of things. It was a very friendly discussion. There wasn't really much pushback on anything by Tucker Carlson. Not really. A lot of people on the right expressed some frustration with this. But then we have the Heritage Foundation. Are you guys familiar with who the Heritage Foundation is? The Heritage Foundation has traditionally been one of the kind of intellectual powerhouses on the right. They're the ones that kind of act as the quote-unquote elite human capital of the right, where they're the intellectuals, the professors, the thinkers, the thought leaders. That's Heritage Foundation, okay? A lot of policy, I'm sure it still does, but it used to almost solely come, a lot of right-wing policy, I should say, gets its start. That's where it's like thought up, where it's brainstormed, is in the Heritage Foundation. Okay. They had this to say, and let's bring it up, and let's talk about it. Okay. This is the guy. Okay, the guy in charge. Let me see if I can get this green thing right. Sorry, gang, I'm a little out of it. Okay, that's good enough. Let's hear what he has to say. If you guys can't hear it or something, let me know.
I'll have more to say on this in the coming days, but today I want to be clear about one thing. Christians can critique the state of Israel without being anti-Semitic. And of course, anti-Semitism should be condemned. My loyalty as a Christian and as an American is to Christ first and to America always. When it serves the interests of the United States to cooperate with Israel and other allies, we should do so, with partnerships on security, intelligence, and technology. But when it doesn't, conservatives should feel no obligation to reflexively support any foreign government, no matter how loud the pressure becomes from the globalist class or from their mouthpieces in Washington. The Heritage Foundation didn't become the intellectual backbone of the conservative movement by canceling our own people or policing the consciences of Christians. And we won't start doing that now. We don't take direction from comments on X, though we are grateful for the robust free speech debate. We also don't take direction from members or donors, though we are inherently grateful for their support. And we're adding more every day. This is the robust debate we invite with our colleagues, our movement friends, our members, and the American public. We will always defend truth. We will always defend America, and we will always defend our friends against the slander of bad actors who serve someone else's agenda. That includes Tucker Carlson, who remains, and as I have said before, always will be a close friend of the Heritage Foundation. The venomous coalition attacking him are sowing division. Their attempt to cancel him will fail. Most importantly, the American people expect us to be focusing on our political adversaries on the left, not attacking our friends on the right. I disagree with, and even abhor, things that Nick Fuentes says. But canceling him is not the answer either. When we disagree with a person's thoughts and opinions, we challenge those ideas in debate. And we have seen success in this approach as we continue to dismantle the vile ideas of the left. As my friend Vice President Vance said last night, what I am not okay with is any country coming before the interest of American citizens, and it is important for all of us, assuming we are American citizens, to put the interest of our own country first. That's where our allegiance lies, and that's where it will stay.
Then you have the nice logo. Sounds reasonable, right? Sounded reasonable to me. Okay. In a vacuum, fair enough. No, criticizing the state of Israel isn't necessarily anti-Semitic. No. We shouldn't cancel people just for having views that we disagree with. This is something that free speech is very important. But keep in mind, he didn't just say, hey, Tucker had Nick Fuentes on. I don't think we should cancel them, right? He called the people criticizing, first of all, he said that the people criticizing Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes were a venomous coalition. Okay. Red flag number 1. Red flag number 2. Painting Nick Fuentes as someone who simply criticizes Israel. I can't show you all the things that Nick Fuentes has said on this show because I will get demonetized, right? I will get banned because he uses language that, unfortunately, will get me demonetized. Basically, today, for example, I can't, look, he says, well, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to just show you. Hold on 1 second. I don't care. If you guys get me banned for this, whatever. I think it's important for you to see. I think it's necessary for you to see some of the things he said. So we're going to look at a couple of things he said, okay? Give me 1 second. Let me get it up. I think it's, this is what is being characterized, okay, as anti-Israel.
Buddy, it's Führer Friday. It is Hitler Friday. Shut up. It is Heil Hitler Friday, nigga. Heil Hitler. All my niggas, Nazis, nigga. Heil Hitler. Nigga, Heil Hitler.
Just anti-Israel sentiment here, gang. Nothing to worry about, right? Nothing to see here. Just anti-Israel sentiment. This isn't only the Heritage Foundation that have said this, like that have turned this in. We can look at guest of the show, Cenk Uygur here. Let me see if we can. Come on. There we go. Okay, so you can actually see who's saying this. So now, not only does Tucker Carlson have to be canceled, so does Heritage. Why are they demanding the most powerful voices in the right be quieted? Because they have defied Israel. Yet, it's a trope that pro-Israel forces in U.S. have any control. They have no power, right? This lie. Okay, that's what it is, so that's what we're going to call it. This lie that people on like the Heritage guy and like Cenk Uygur are spreading is that the reason people are upset, okay, and to keep in mind, they're not trying to cancel. Well, I'm sure some are, but they're not. I haven't seen people like Konstantin Kisin and a few others say that the Heritage Foundation or the Tucker Carlson or even Nick Fuentes should be deplatformed, right? That's not what we're talking about here. They're expressing condemnation for having Nick Fuentes on and then giggling with him like a schoolgirl and treating him like a best buddy at a sleepover, right? This isn't having him on and then challenging his views in a robust debate. This is having him on and sucking his proverbial dick, basically. That's what's being criticized here. But it's being portrayed falsely as the reason people are upset about this, the reason people have issues with Heritage's statement, what Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes did, is because they have defied Israel. What? Again, I want to show you what we're dealing with, okay? I want to show you what's being said and why people have an issue with it. Let's listen. This is more of Nick Fuentes defying Israel, okay? You guys ready?
For allowing women to go out into the society and lie and bear false witness and cast spells and worship minerals and rocks and women are out there naked and they're killing babies and they're getting to be 300 pounds and they get in your face and we can't do anything about it. You can't hit these people. You can't punch them. They don't arrest them. And basically they're taking over the culture on social media. I said, what happened to the good old days 1,000 years ago when people like this, instead of arguing with them or saying, hey, listen, darling, everything's okay, they would dunk them in the river or burn them alive. I said, this is the kind of thing that we need to see more of, is burning them alive a little bit more. Taking women like this, and instead of hiring a lawyer for all this money and we're going to sue him for defamation, how about we go to the constable or whatever, we go to the police officer, the soldier stationed in the village, and say, hey, we got to burn her alive. Hey, this woman is worshiping rocks. She's bearing false witness. She's lying about men. And basically, we need to capture her and throw her in the lake. Or set her on fire. I feel like that would be more appropriate. And everybody freaked out. And this was all over Twitter. And everybody said, oh, this is horrible. Is this guy for real? Yeah, I'm for real.
Just a little defying Israel. That's the only reason people have a problem with this. What is going on, gang? Why are we doing this? Why are we pretending, okay, and acting as if that the people who are upset that Heritage Foundation is going after the people who are the venomous coalition, as they call them, that seems to have a problem with Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson, right? That the reason that people are upset is because they're defying Israel. That's not why people are upset. That's not why we're angry. And that's not why I'm looking at Heritage Foundation and I'm seeing how fucking far they have fallen from the intellectual powerhouses of 20 years ago, where right-wing thought got its not birthplace, but like where it was refined and policified and messaging was built, and because I don't think all conservative thought is evil or wrong. Some are good. There are certainly conservative positions I hold. But this is insane. Do we understand this? Do we get this? Are we grokking it yet, gang? I found myself, it was wild. I found myself this morning, okay? And this is, Halloween's a perfect day for this, okay? Because it was spooky. I was reading a tweet, and I was like, yes, this is exactly correct. Let me get it up. Let me see if I can do it in a way where you guys, hold on, give me a second. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's how we're gonna play this. Okay? Let's see if we can do this correctly. I hope we can. Yes, we can. Okay. Give me a second. I gave the game away. Damn it. Okay, I was reading this. I was going to just read it and have you guys agree with it too, and then find out who you're liking, right? So this is Mitch McConnell, Senator Mitch McConnell. Not exactly a friend of the stream. Says this: the quote-unquote intellectual backbone of the conservative movement is only as strong as the values it defends. Last I checked, quote-unquote, conservatives should feel no obligation to carry water for anti-Semites and apologists for America-hating autocrats. But maybe I just don't know what time it is. And I absolutely found myself agreeing with every single word that he said. And I had to like the tweet. I had to. It was weird. It was kind of spooky. But that's where we're at. You got Wick and Mitch McConnell agreeing on something. Agreeing on how crazy. We are watching in real time the coup, the intellectual coup of the Republicans and of the right in general. Heritage Foundation has fallen. They're now running cover for Nick Fuentes, and lying about the people who are opposing them. You have many other influencers running to Heritage's defense and to Tucker Carlson's defense about this. Look, there's a difference between canceling someone, okay, and getting them deplatformed and saying no one can listen to this because I don't like it. There's a difference between that, which would be wrong, and people saying, hey, this is garbage, and you're kind of a garbage person for engaging with this in the way you did. One is okay. One is free speech. One is not. And the only people I see, well, the majority of people I see, are doing the second thing, was saying, watching the Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes interview and saying, oh, you're just a piece of shit, and you're entertaining this other piece of shit. And that's condemnable. They're not calling for YouTube to deplatform them or anything like that. At least not that I've seen. I'm sure there's a couple crazies out there who might be doing that, but we condemn them too. But yeah, Nick Fuentes isn't just defying Israel. Nick Fuentes is calling for women to be burned alive for worshiping rocks or whatever. Nick Fuentes is saying that women... Oh, I'm sure I could find more clips for you if you need, right? But basically, in the interview, he said that Stalin was based. In the interview between Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes, he said, yeah, Stalin, good guy. I do not think Stalin is a good guy. I think he's a bad guy. I think Stalin is an evil man. Was an evil man. And no one should be praising him or looking up to him or trying to emulate him. I don't know. It's pretty, I thought it was a pretty easy thing to kind of agree on. It is what it is. Okala says, just stopping by to say hello. Hello. Have a fun and safe night. Well, have a fun and safe night to you. It's Halloween, so we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to get a lot of people today, but I appreciate every single one of you for coming by. Old School for $2 says, has Fuentes confirmed his obvious gayness yet? I don't think he's confirmed it. But that's another like angle to this. I don't know if it matters, only in the hypocrisy though, right? But he's kind of flaming. It's a Halloween stream. Yes, Michael Gerson, it is. Gelatinous Rube says, pristine rage bait tonight. You got me, homie. Why are you raging at this? Why are you upset at my take? The Powdered Dusty, nice to see you. How are they leftists? How are who leftists? How do call-ins work? Well, you click that. Do you guys see my pinned tweet? I hope you do. Hold on, I have to ban a bot on Twitch. 1 second. Okay, that's done. They're like, oh, buy some followers and you'll get all sorts of love and attention from buying your followers. Now, fuck off, bot. So you click that link, you accept the rules while clicking on my little smiling face emoji. Okay? Once you do that, you'll be able to see all the channels, and then you'll see the waiting, the backstage, which is at the top. It's a voice channel. You'll jump in there, and when I'm ready, I'll pull you in. Oh, Dan Shea was responding to Zero Fucks. Okay. I wasn't reading Zero Fucks. Oh, he's saying Nick and Tucker are leftists. I don't, I don't know what his argument is for that, but I'd be curious to see what he had to say. But yeah, if you guys want to call in, it is a call-in show, so just jump backstage and I'll pull you in whenever. But that is what I saw today. Initially, It got me going. It got me going crazy. And yeah, I wanted to talk about it. Tucker never investigated further after the Stalin remark. Yeah, he didn't come back to it. They never circled back. At least, again, in my seeing of it, I never saw that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't think I am on this. Again, I think you should be able to have anyone you want on your platform. I think you should be able to engage with them however you want on your platform. I don't think you should be deplatformed for this or canceled for this, right? But if you have, say, I don't know, a Houthi terrorist on your stream, and you compare him to One Piece, and you talk about how based it is that he's a terrorist and all these things, I'm going to have some issues with you and what you said. I'm going to condemn it. And I don't think that's wrong to do. I think that's good to do, actually. If you have someone who talks about how Hitler was based, Stalin was based, they hate America and they want a more Chinese authoritarian system, and they want to burn women alive, and also that women want to be raped, they're begging for it, and you have that person on and you act like you're best friends and you don't challenge him on anything really substantively, then yes, I'm going to condemn you. I'm going to absolutely have an issue with how you platformed this and what you did. The horseshoe is now a slinky. Slinkies are fun because they fall downstairs, and it's fun to watch things fall downstairs. Okay. It's fun to watch. Now, there's other moves, of course. Speaking of things that made me angry, a little rage bait stream for you guys. Have you guys seen the photoshops of Erica Kirk and JD Vance? This is not a real photo, but there is this kind of meme going on that I've seen, and I find these memes like way more disrespectful. Like the Charlie Kirk death jokes are in poor taste, to be sure. But this kind of thing, I don't know why, and I don't have a real logical reason for this, to be clear. But it just disgusts me far more. They're doing this thing, this rumor, right, that Erica Kirk and JD Vance are banging, okay? That they're fucking. That at least one of them wants to fuck the other, if not both. And they're doing these photoshops, right? No, it's not true. Well, I don't know if it's true or not, Tessie Johnson, but these photos aren't actual photos. They're AI slop, okay? AI slop photos, okay? And they're putting it as if they're banging, okay? I think this is way worse, in my opinion, way more immoral than joking about his death. What do you guys think of that? Am I crazy on this one? Josh says, do you not see the video of them even without Photoshop? I've seen parts of it. If you got a whole ass clip you want me to watch, a specific one, I can. We can watch that. But I don't know. It's like, it just feels wrong in a way that is above and beyond the wrongness of the death jokes. It's like total disrespect. I think what it is, I think like my thought process on this is like it's attacking his family, right? It's besmirching his family. And I don't know if you guys watch the show a lot, but I don't really care if people come after people, right? Like individuals. Like if you have a problem with me or if I have a problem with you and we call each other retards, whatever. Okay. But the moment one side brings someone's kids into it or someone's wife or someone's girlfriend or someone's family or someone like an innocent party that's just around them, I find that way out of line. I don't think that's a thing we should do. I don't think that's something that this space should condone, but we do all the time. We do all the time, and I think it's condemnable that we do that. I say we, but I don't engage in that, but other people around me have, and I find that very condemnable. So I think that's why this kind of gets me way worse than all that. Morally Loaded says, to be clear, I think the kiss ones and the other photoshopped ones are gross, but she did hug him closely, and I think that's fine. Look, if all they did was hug on screen, okay. I don't, like, she's a grieving widow, someone's comforting her. I don't think there's anything inherently sexual in that. There's nothing inherently bad in that. That's okay to do if you want to do that. But pushing the line that they're banging, right? I think that's a little much. I think that's like, okay, come on. Cool it. Cool your jets. DevCord members, where you at? Is Dev here? He's welcome to jump on and challenge me on this. And gang, it is a call-in stream, by the way. So if you guys want to call in, I'm more than happy to have you. I know it's Halloween, and I know, like, I'm never sure what my numbers are going to be like on these days, on the holidays, like 4th of July weekend, things like that. It's usually really good or really bad. So I guess we'll see. Oh, we have a 10-minute like a cooldown period for people because we've had some issues in the past with spam bots, other things. So we make it so there's at least a cooldown period. So if something needs done, we can do it. Okay, and you can't just jump everywhere. But once your 10-minute thing is done, jump backstage. I'll pull you in, and we'll get you going. Okay. We got other things to talk about in the meantime. Do you guys have you guys watched Candace Owens lately? I hope not. I hope for better things for you than watching Candace Owens. But she's on a tear on this conspiracy theory that the Jews killed Charlie Kirk. That, you know, the what's the guy's name? Tyler Robinson or whatever, the lefty or the person who had a trans girlfriend or whatever. He was the fall guy. He didn't actually do it. He's being set up. He's being framed. This is according to Candace Owens, okay? Candace Owens thinks this was done by, the Mossad because Charlie Kirk was betraying Israel and Israel could not have that. So they sent in the Mossad agents. No, this is a real thing, right? Like she's making streams on this. Absolutely explosive show today. Irrefutable proof that Charlie Kirk was completely infiltrated. Join us live here. He was being tracked for years. Just really crazy shit. Okay? Really crazy shit. And that's not our only post on the subject. Hold on, I don't want to browse my Twitter publicly. Let me get to it. Here we go. Cannot sleep. Discovered something in this Charlie Kirk mystery that is incomprehensibly dark. They all betrayed him. May need to kick the Norm Finkelstein interview until Monday and go live early tomorrow instead. Yeah. the decision to murder Charlie Kirk was made after he let Tucker Carlson take the stage. I feel certain of that. It's insane. This insanity that is breeding on the right, okay? With the Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson types, right? This utter craziness that is just festering. I don't know if you guys understand that it's an actual problem. Candace Owens is one of the biggest podcasters in the fucking world. Yes, and she's always been a little crazy, okay? I think she's saying thinks Macron's wife is a man or something. But this kind of conspiracy rot stuff is affecting my friends. You guys know Staxiums? He's been on my show a few times. He was the last guy to talk to Charlie Kirk. He was the one debating him when Charlie Kirk got shot. How we all found out, because he started being like, oh shit, like Charlie Kirk just got shot. And we were like, oh, really? We all checked. I found out about it later on from a different way, but yeah, this is kind of what happened. There is this conspiracy going on, and it's tying into Candace Owens stuff, that he was in on it, that he was trying with his words to get basically get Charlie Kirk to stand in a certain spot so the sniper could get him, right? And it wasn't the sniper that got him, it was someone with a secret handgun from the side stage, and the sniper was just a plant and all these things. But anyway, they've been harassing him at his house. They've been calling him up all hours, making videos on him, saying that he's lying about the situation, that he's in on it. Like, these conspiracies have real life consequences for people. Because if Tyler Robinson didn't do it, who did? And then these conspiracy brain people go off and try to find who did it. And what would you do to someone that you thought was getting away with murder, right? A murder of someone you prized dearly, that you thought was a great thought leader, that was your friend, right? What would you do and how would you act? We saw this with the Sandy Hook stuff, where the parents of these children were, in some cases, driven to suicide because of the harassment they got from the just, frankly, lies and conspiracy brains from Alex Jones and these people. Yeah, it's wild and it's weird and it's Morally Loaded says she's been saying Erica has been involved too. Crazy. But we have some callers now, so we're gonna bring them in. We're gonna have some discussion. Okay, I didn't see the order you came in, so I'm just gonna do it best we can. Bear with me. Okay, can we do that? Hello, you're live.
Hi.
Hi, what's up?
So I've actually been a fan for quite a while.
Oh, okay.
And I generally agree with you, or not always, but generally. But I had a really bad day, and I like to argue when I have bad days, so I came up with something to argue with you about that I think that we can have a productive discussion about.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm sorry to hear you had a bad day. I hope it gets better, and if you need to argue for a little bit, we can argue for a little bit. What are we arguing about?
Yeah, so I watched your debate with Andrew Wilson about Christian nationalism.
Okay.
Which is a personal pet peeve of mine. I have a bone to pick with American Christians and how they engage with religion.
Okay.
But I think that you're this is like a nitpick. Again, I'm a fan. I agree with your position on it. But I just think it wasn't the best representation. Like, you could have done a much better job of showing why Christian nationalism is stupid and by refusing to engage with him on the uh I don't remember exactly how this played out because it was a month or so ago, but
It
like
was.
you were arguing about the positive claim part. I just felt like that was like a completely pointless place to get tied down and just kind of like m- made the discussion useless.
It was a useless discussion. First of all, you're correct. But I would argue that
Yeah.
the useless nature of it, because I'm really curious, what did he bring up that I refused to engage in? Because as I recall, he didn't actually bring anything up. He had
to be clear,
no points.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. What I'm saying is, because so when the debate started, you had that it's like the Raging Tomato lady or whatever.
Oh, are you talking about the pre-debate where we talked in and he's like, just so you know, this is your position. And I'm like, that's not my position. He's like, yes, it is.
No.
Like,
it was after that. I do know what you're talking about because I was also stupid. I agree. But it was after that. It was at the beginning of the debate. When, so if, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. If I remember correctly, you started the debate by saying, essentially, Andrew Wilson has claimed that Christian nationalism is better. Was it than socialism? Was that the
no, progressivism.
Progressivism. Progressivism.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is better than progressivism.
Yes.
I'm not. I don't have to make any kind of claim because I'm not defending progressivism. I'm just saying that it's objectively not as bad as Christian nationalism.
Well, I'm saying Christian nationalism is worse, and my main argument for the show, and my main what I wanted to demonstrate is that Christian nationalism isn't even Christian. So if you believe in Christian morality or Christian ethics, then you must reject Christian nationalism, and that was my attack line. Whether you thought it was effective or not, but that was
I didn't
that was
even
the point.
actually. Well, so I didn't even actually understand that was the attack that you were making.
Okay.
Which is sort of what because I do agree with that. I think that like a really good and like just something that like Andrew Wilson's never going to be able to argue with is that like even Christians can't agree on what Christianity is. So who gets to just like how are we going to incorporate it into a government, right? Like that's why it never goes well because people can never agree about these things. And again, I was planning to have this conversation for a while, but I wanted to prepare, but then I just kind of jumped in today and went.
Okay.
But I do think because again, I'm willing to go back and rewatch it if I'm wrong about this, but it really just felt like you were saying, I don't have to make any claim and I don't have to defend anything that's being said. And then you just kind of left the discussion there. And I do understand on one level.
I know what you're talking about.
Andrew Wilson's the worst, and he will take any opportunity that he can to, I get it. But yeah, again, this is just a nitpick.
Sure, I do know what you're talking about. You're talking about like the pre-discussion thing where we were talking about whether or not I had a positive claim or a negative claim. And
yes, that is what I'm talking about. Okay,
yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes, but that was before the debate. And again, as it was presented to me by Tomato, is that Wilson wanted to argue that X was better, that Christian nationalism was better than progressivism. And I said I disagreed, and I agreed to go on to disagree. So the way that Andrew Wilson then sprung it on me, that he was going to reframe it, I felt was a little trick.
Yeah, I mean, he does that. What was his reframing? What was he trying to reframe?
I can't remember precisely what it was, but he wanted to make sure that I knew that I had that I was arguing that progressivism was better than Christian nationalism, and I wasn't necessarily arguing that, though I am right. Though that is a position I hold.
Yes, you're right.
That is a position I hold because I think Christian nationalism is authoritarian swill. I'm not. I'm a liberal. I'm not really a progressive. I got progressive leanings, but I'm a liberal at heart. So if your criticism of my debate was that I should have just said okay and moved on, fair. That's a fair criticism.
Yeah, well, that was all I had.
What do you want to argue about? We could argue about something else.
I I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Fuck. So you're a gun guy, right? You like guns,
Oh, I think they're fine. Yeah, I'm not like a
and like
gun.
and
I'm
you're
not
like pro gun
ammo-sexual, but
rights.
I think they're
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. Do you have like a strong position on how we regulate like mentally ill people and access to guns?
Look, I think
Because that's a
yeah, I understand what you mean. I think
yeah,
that one of the ways that the government has tried to keep the people they don't want to have guns from is by using that mental illness. Like, this is a thing that Trump is trying to do with trans people. He's trying to declare them
yeah,
all mentally ill, and because they're all mentally ill, they shouldn't have access to guns, and they're trying to grab the guns of the trans people through this kind of loophole, right? There
right.
are, and I want to be clear, I don't think someone who's a paranoid schizophrenic should be able to own a gun, right?
Yeah,
There are
that's
there are lines. There are lines to this.
yeah,
But I don't they're using this and then trying to like broaden the definition so much that it is a big problem. But yeah.
yeah. I mostly agree. I think that there's a discussion worth having about where that line is, or those lines are, um, because I do like, I this is an issue that I brought it up because I can't make up my mind about it because I have both seen people who have had the system used against them to prevent them from having rights that they deserve to have, like you're describing. But I've also seen people who never should have had a gun have too many guns. Like so I don't know what to do about it. It's something that I worry about a lot because I have mental health issues. I was diagnosed really early, and I've basically never been allowed to own a gun. I don't want to own a gun because I'm terrified that I would have an episode and something bad would happen, right?
Yeah, that would be
um
terrible. Hmm.
the so yeah, yeah, I don't know. That was it.
Okay, well, thank you for calling in.
Yeah,
I'm sorry
I'm
we
sorry.
didn't get to debate too much,
No,
but
I'll pay more attention. I'll find something. I'm really good at arguing when there's something that matters. I promise.
I believe you. Have a great day, okay? Happy Halloween.
You too, man.
Hello, you're live. Hello.
Hey, how you been?
Oh, living life. What's up?
Before you were talking about the like how conspiracy theories and how people can get like real world effect to them.
Yes.
Like in terms of how would you like, is there a way you would craft a rule in which you would try and say like what should be illegal and what shouldn't be in terms of those things?
I don't think that that's a wise thing to do because as we just saw with our last discussion on guns and people trying to broaden the definition of mentally ill to include people that they don't like so they can take their guns, I think that if you craft any kind of rule or any kind of standard for conspiracy theory being illegal, I think it draws into that, I think, in a much worse way because there are conspiracy theories that do turn out to actually be true. And I think that simply labeling something a conspiracy theory isn't enough. You have to kind of demonstrate why it's not true. Now, with Candace Owens, right, we have clear, convincing evidence that Tyler Robinson was the shooter, right? We have the guns, we have his fingerprints on the guns, we have compelling evidence that we have him on video running from the scene, all these things, right? And the evidence that the conspiracists have brought forward have been very unconvincing. Like they try to paint Staxiums, my buddy here, as someone who is like getting Charlie Kirk in position and these things. And it's just, again, because I know Staxiums, it's crazy talk. That dude, he's the dorkiest nerd guy you've ever seen. He wouldn't understand what to do in that situation, right? Like he wouldn't even know what he was doing. And I feel very confident saying that. So when it comes to crafting a rule to make conspiracy theories illegal, I don't think I would. Does that make sense?
Well, there is to some extent because you would say like if something reached a level of a call to action. So if someone was basically saying that this guy was him, the law won't get him, only we can take them down. Like, so pushing, like, so if you are saying your conspiracy theory to the point that you are trying to convince people to imminently go attack and kill the
Well,
person.
that's a real threat. That's not. We already have like laws against real actionable threats. Like those laws exist. They're on the books.
The question I'm asking is like, so when would because conspiracy theory, if severe enough, if you, depending on how you do it, could turn into a call to action, basically saying that like, they go, I know, I have an idea. I'm going to use a conspiracy theory and just say it so often. I have a big enough platform that I bet someone will eventually go do it. And if let's say we knew that it was your intention the entire time, even if you're like, well, no, I'm trying to skirt the rules and make it as vague as possible so it's not imminent, but I really want, like, I'm trying my best to get the person killed immediately. Like, that still would be covered. You'd be like, okay, that person's still liable.
I mean, we have a test for this, right? We have a couple.
Yeah.
We have the Watts test. We have the Brandenburg test. Like, how do we know that what someone is saying is an active, imminent threat? And there are standards for this. Like, for the Brandenburg test, it's like a two-pronged thing. Is it imminent and targeted, right? Is it like something that we're doing on Friday? I want you all to go to this place and I want you to bring your guns and we're going to kill so-and-so. That's an actionable threat. How likely it is to succeed. Like me saying that as some rando on Twitter, probably not very likely. If I'm, however, Candace Owens, and I have a whole team behind me, and we've bought a bunch of guns for the occasion, right? And we've bought people a bunch of tickets, and we have a bunch of messages back and forth that we're going to go do this, then it's far more likely that it's going to be a serious, actual thing. And I think that, like, we don't need to craft further legislation on this. I think that we just need to use the legislation that's already exists and do that.
I agree. There are some limits to it, though. In the sense, like, you can never predict what's going to go viral. Like, think of each time where someone's like tweeted something stupid or posted something stupid on social media, and like hours later they're fired from their jobs because it took off. They had no thought it would be. Under normal circumstances, it would just fly under the radar. But because it caught traction, suddenly everyone's calling the person's employer and harassing them. And that the harassment was basically unending for something that really wasn't that big of a deal. But because it got hundreds of millions of eyes on it, suddenly it doesn't take very many people to suddenly feel like a flood of harassment, basically. Yeah. And so same thing for this guy, he's being harassed. The reality is that if someone just says that, like, on social media, if enough people just say, that was a guy who was asking about guns right beforehand, I bet he is involved. Some crazy person, like, let's just say it's 10 crazy people who decide to like dedicate themselves to harassing that person. That person feels a deluge, basically. No, and there's no real way to stop it.
It is a problem, but again, I think that making that kind of thing illegal creates worse problems.
I agree.
It's not a matter of one side is perfect and the other side isn't. It's trade-offs. And are we willing to trade our ability to call out things that we think are wrong or inappropriate or evil or whatever? Do we want to give that up? Because sometimes we might get it wrong. And someone might feel effects that they should not feel because we got it wrong. Like me saying, what if I did see someone buy a gun and then I saw someone that I thought looked like him at Charlie Kirk, and I really believed that, it looks like he has a gun and people should know about this. And I post it, again, something I really believe, something I have some evidence for. Later turns out to be, I missaw it. It was a water gun or something, and I was being silly. I don't think I should face repercussions for being wrong like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Sorry, I wasn't trying to say like you should have one. I was
yeah. I see what you're saying.
But also I'm curious. So if let's say you're on the receiving end, let's say that you decided to go to Charlie Kirk's event. You were the one asking a question when he gets shot, and so suddenly you're getting the deluge. What would you do? Like, so, like, what if someone was facing that? How would you react to basically?
How would I react personally? I would monetize that shit, son. Right? I would go on every podcast I know. I would go to every news outlet I know. I would get as much FaceTime as I can and make sure I was wearing my Wick TV merchandise so everyone knows to go to my channel to get the real story. But that's me, personally, right? That's how I would handle such a thing. Like, I would turn it into a boon for me. I would turn it into something where if I'm going to be getting all this attention, I'm going to make a buck on it. Now, I know that's not everyone. Not everyone likes that. Not everyone can handle that kind of attention. But that's personally how I would handle it.
Yeah, well, exactly, because you have the ability to monetize basically
Yes.
attention, where most people don't.
Yes.
Most times, attention from the public is not monetizable for the
Yes.
average person. In fact, it's usually just a negative effect
Well,
on you. because
it
somebody
can
may
be
or
like,
might
look at the Haktua girl, right? She wasn't
True.
anyone, and she got a ton of attention, and she turned that shit into
a rug
a
pull.
lot of money. Yeah, into a
Yeah,
rug pull
exactly.
later, right?
Exactly. Yeah, no, you can try and monetize. The thing is, obviously, not everyone's successful at it. The thing is, again, especially if it's a negative, where if she got attention for being funny, so positive, or so going viral positively or humorously is not the same thing as going viral negatively. So that if you were getting negative attention, you might be able to use that negative attention.
Sure.
Because
Well,
you can
also look at
there's
the-
no such thing as bad publicity. But
Do you remember the plane girl?
the one
The
who's
one that
looking
was
crazy.
like, oh, that person isn't real. They're not a real person. That's why I'm leaving
I
the
would call her
plane.
humorous. Yeah.
Well, no, she was getting roasted. She was crazy. I wouldn't consider that positive attention that she got, but she was able to make a buck
humorous.
off of it.
I'm saying, like, so there's a difference between saying, like, so the do you remember that thing with the whole like bike where it's like the girl, like the pregnant woman was like taking the bike and the kids were saying like that's our bike, and there was a whole fight over that. Do you recall that? Like the e-bike thing in New York?
Yes, I do recall that actually.
So that would be ones for the woman. I don't think that wasn't humorous. I would say that was only negative, like trying to get her fired from her job. There's not like, I don't think she could really monetize that really. She might be able to get sympathy. I think both of them made a buck off of either they did or someone scamming people made a buck off of the GoFundMe's for them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's probably
well,
actually that probably is your best bet if you have those.
Black kid the N-word, she got like $1 million.
Yeah, no, it's surprising. Yeah, actually, yeah, no. So I guess maybe that is the advice, that if you get those situations, there's going to be people that agree with you and are willing to throw money to just support the fact they don't like it. So do a GoFundMe for to deal with the harassment, basically. And you might be able to make 6 figures off of it.
Some cash.
So, and then hopefully then it fades away over time.
Make some cash. That's the best. It's not ideal, mind you. But if you're going to face all this negative attention, get some positive out of it. That's what I would advise people. But thank you this way for calling in. And
have a good
happy
one.
Halloween. And I'll talk to you later, okay? But yeah, make some... Look, life throws you lemons. Make a lemonade stand and start selling lemonade, okay? That's how you have to handle it. $5 from Old School to say, Wick, the trans or mentally ill thus can't have pew-pews isn't Trump. It was a memo from an employee in the DOJ sent around for consideration. But that was in the Trump administration, right? It's something that they were considering. And I find that condemnable. $2 from Dwight Baldwin to say, Wick, you not having a costume is weak. True, and I should be criticized for it. Last year, I did a whole skeleton thing. This year, I was like, I just didn't have it in me, okay? Didn't have it in me. And that is weak. And you should criticize me for it. Yes. Let's bring in the next caller. Wolfglen, hello.
Hey, Wick, how you doing?
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. So, example of our time. My wife is able to work from home. She's disabled. I can't talk to her about the whole political situation. We're both on the same side of it, but she just can't handle Trump. She just can't deal with it. Can't.
No, I understand that.
So my daughter, my adult daughter, 34, we and I talk about it, but we have to whisper or move into a different room so she doesn't hear about it. I think that says a lot about our country, that the present administration is very near to causing people to have mental breakdowns. And we're talking people who are solid, stable individuals. It wasn't as bad in the first administration. When the first one, it was bad. I mean, I remember Bush, and wasn't pleasant for us, but it was nowhere. The old joke is Trump has made Bush actually, to some people's minds, look intellectual. So, luckily, I also think I'm very happy that I don't think Trump is a Rhodes Scholar, because the amount of damage
True.
he could do, unless he's playing 40 checks as an idiot, I don't know. But if what damage he could do if he actually knew what he was doing and was not just, you know what I'm saying? Past presidents with this power.
I think oh, go on, please.
Imagine what Nixon would do with this power. He has no limit. He's right. What Nixon said, that if a president does it, it can't be wrong, as now correct. What he said on Snyder, was it Snyder? No, it was Dick Cavett. Cavett, yeah. What he said on the show is now correct. If the president does it, it can't be illegal. We've come that far. So it's just an interesting situation. I try and keep calm and everything, but then you deal with the economy. This is going to be a very positive conversation, by the way.
Is it?
Sarcasm. As you well know. Oh, actually, I should give you a grief for not having a costume, shouldn't I?
It's whatever you want.
No?
It's your. Hey, look, it's your call-in. You can do whatever you like.
Okay. No, I never insult the host for his choice of outfit. Just not really worth the time. But no, the economy. It's just. See, I'm one of the people who think the shutdown's going to January.
It doesn't seem to have any sign of stopping. Both sides have entrenched their positions and have no real incentive not to work with each other. I will say this on this, right? Like, if we are trapped, because if the Democrats, relent and give in, they're going to lose support from their side. If Trump relents and gives in, he's going to lose support from his side. Both sides have every incentive in the world to not work together, right? Both sides are betting that the constituency of the other side is going to revolt against them. Which one's going to be right? I guess we'll find out, because until there is not just some discomfort, but like a huge kind of pushback against either the Democrats or Republicans, whoever, by the public in general, it's just going to stay shut down. And so you're correct that I don't see this ending anytime soon, and that's horrific. And it's because I know people who work for the federal government who just aren't getting paid. They're just not getting paid. And that sucks. They still got their bills. They still got mouths to feed and stuff like that. But yeah, and so like neither side, both sides think they're in the moral right? Like the Democrats think, well, hey, the Republicans are trying to take away healthcare for our constituents, and our constituents, our lives are going to be suffering for this. We aren't going to sign this unless they give us these benefits back that they're taking away. And then the Republicans are saying, well, no, we're not going to do that, right? You just need to sign this bill and shut up and sit down. And why would you hold the government hostage like this for something that we should be debating outside of a shutdown? And so both sides think they're in the right. And so neither are budging. They're both intractable.
Yeah, they should have done when they had the chance with the big beautiful bill and that thing before, when basically Schumer had a book tour he wanted to go on. He didn't want to shut the government down. He should have shut it down then. He should have done this way back, because here's the thing: it's too late to change for, cover. I'm in California. Cover California, any of that stuff. It's too late. It goes live shortly. And they're not going to be able to change the prices. And the reason I say January is a lot of Republicans use Cover California, use this program.
For those of us who are not
they're-
in California, what is Cover California?
Covered California is just the vehicle for all of the different insurance plans that have subsidies available to
Okay.
them.
Okay.
So
know what you're
it's
talking about.
just that's the name we covered. Every state that has it has a different name to it, but that's what it is. And so what's going to happen is, come January, Republicans who are not going to be able to afford their health insurance they had because they lost $100, $500 a month subsidy to it, and that's going to get kind of bad. It's I know my daughter doesn't have a high-powered job or anything, so she uses it. It's just going to cost her an extra 100 to 150 a month, which isn't a lot of money in one respect, but in another respect, when you're living at home with your parents, it's a decent amount of money.
I get what you mean.
So yeah, it's just, and then I mean, California, I think, put 150 million into helping the stamps continue for a little bit at least.
The SNAP program, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm old. I remember
No, you're
the
fine.
old term.
Like the SNAP
Um,
SNAP stuff, I think if something's gonna break the kind of like dichotomy we're in, I think
Mhm.
that's likely to do it. 40 million Americans is a lot of people, right? It's a lot of people who rely on this. And I think that that's going to create pressure. And will it be enough? I don't know, but it's going to create a lot of pressure on families, on working class individuals who are just trying to eat. And yeah, it's going to be a real problem, but we'll see.
One of my worries is like,
We're going to have a show on that
careful
next
for-
week, by the way, for the viewers, right?
Okay.
We're going to be talking about SNAP and whether or not it should cover things like cookies and snacks and sodas.
It's also called EBT, I think, out in California.
Yeah, EBT is one of the ways they go through it. Yeah, EBT.
And you can actually go to Del Taco with it. They actually have the ability to do that, which I have no problem with it. Eating is eating. But the two things. One, I'm concerned about what's going to happen with ICE tonight. And two,
Okay.
I'm concerned. I'm concerned what's going to happen with the next weeks as people get hungry. And I'll say this in the way, I will never see anyone shoplifting in the stores. Will not.
Okay. Well,
So it's just do what you can. Tuna, peanut butter, rice, always usually good things. Call your food pantry if you can. Find out what they need. Just try and help someone.
well, thank you, Wolf Glenn, for calling in. I'm sorry that things are going tense around politics in your family, but I hope that things get better, and I appreciate you calling in, okay?
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. $5 from Owlishness to say this. Trump is clearly mentally unwell. It will unravel once they are unable to prop him up because the power grab, once he's gone, will cause an implosion. Oh, maybe. We'll find out. No one really knows what's going to happen to MAGA after Trump is no longer a political possibility, right? We'll see. But yeah, next week we're going to have a show on SNAP and things like that. And we're going to cover all sorts of subjects. I'm just trying to get the day kind of nailed down. And people who have opinions who are either pro-SNAP or anti-SNAP, get a hold of me. We're also going to have a discussion on healthcare for illegal immigrants. That's going to be next week too. Again, trying to get a day hammered down, but I have the guests hammered down for that. So, well, mostly. I need one more that is opposed to healthcare for illegal immigrants. So, if that's you, hit me up. We got some more callers. Hello, you're live. Hello, you're muted on your end. You gotta unmute yourself. Okay, what's up? Are you on push to talk or something? I can't hear you if you're talking.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, it's been a little while. Sorry about that. I was
Okay.
on YouTube listening to you, and I had to push buttons, and my poor little brain couldn't handle it.
It's all good.
How are you doing? Happy holidays?
Well, happy Halloween. Yes, nice to see you.
Yes. Oh, what's up?
It's Collins. What you got for me today?
Yeah, I've been thinking about stocking food because I'm low income, so however, I don't need to use a food shelf, although I can. And here in Minnesota, we have decided Governor Walz has decided to help out the food shelves with
That's very
some
good.
extra.
Yes.
That's very good. But I'm just worried about like runs on grocery stores and price increases. That would be really disruptive. And it's going to start tomorrow.
Do you think
know.
we'll see the effects immediately, or will it take a little time to kind of roll out and to kind of disseminate into the
Wish I
normal
knew.
person's life?
Yeah, I wish I knew. I think it's SNAP benefits people. Well, what I think would happen is, prices go up when there's reduced demand, right? So when people aren't shopping as much anymore, the prices will go up. I think that's how it works.
I don't know if we'll see. I'm not an economist. I can't predict these things. I think that one argument is that SNAP has artificially inflated prices, but I do not know whether that is correct or incorrect. I do not have the knowledge base, and I haven't researched it, so I can't make any kind of real opinion on that isn't just me guessing. So I won't do that. But I will say that the idea that SNAP should just go away is I think that our government has a responsibility to its citizens, and I think that one of the responsibilities is, if your citizens are hungry, to make sure that they get food. Now, we could debate on the edges on what food should be covered, what food shouldn't be covered, but I think that having a temporary program for people, right, or permanent program but temporary for the people using it, so that they can get back at their feet, is a good thing. My family actually, when my dad left the military, he had a job for a little bit, and then there was like a year where he couldn't get a job. He got fired or let go or laid off or something, and he couldn't get a job for like a year, and he was trying everything he could. We had to go on and get these benefits for a little bit. So my family, for about a year, a little less than a year, I should say, had food stamp benefits and things like that we had to rely on. We also relied on our church, with the food pantries and things like that. All these things are good, but like removing that is just going to hurt a lot of people, and we want these kind of safety nets in place. I think that the government has a responsibility to its citizens, and this is one of the responsibilities.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the conservatives, I'm not conservative, but conservatives feel it's like they're the undeserving poor, right? You should get a job, you should work, and that they feel that a lot of these people are malingering or faking it in some way, or in some way not deserving the help that they're getting. That's what a conservative would tell you.
Yeah, I think that look, with every program, you're going to have people who abuse it. But that's not who the program's for. And I think it would be foolish to dismantle a program simply because there's some abuse in that program. You're
Yeah.
always going to be find someone who is taking advantage of a system. But that does not mean, right, that we dismantle the system altogether. Like, for example, having cookies, right, be SNAP eligible, would be EPT eligible, right? It is a bad idea for people to just buy junk food with their ABT, right? That if that's all they did and they went out and they just brought like all sorts of junk food with almost no nutritional value, that would be a bad idea for them to do. But having the ability to get a treat once in a while isn't a bad thing. Like if they bought all sorts of nutritional things and they just wanted some ice cream because they had a bad day, and they wanted that to get that with their SNAP benefits, I don't think that's a problem. And so I wouldn't want to dismantle people's abilities to buy a snack now and again, right? Just because there are some people who are just going to only buy snacks. I think that's silly.
Do you think this makes a good case for a UBI? Because or that it will increase the political pressure for a UBI.
I don't know. I don't know enough about like UBI in concept. To me, sounds like a good thing. Having like this basic universal income that people can rely on. It's not a lot, right? It won't like pay your mortgage, but it's just something to have if you need it. I think it'd be a good thing. However, like everything, the devil's in the details, and I don't know enough about the details. I do know that in this country, we were one vote away from getting universal basic income back in the 70s, believe it or not. Nixon actually supported universal basic income, and the Republican administration at the time put forward a proposal for universal basic income. But the Democrats shot it down because it wasn't enough, they said. There's a lesson in there, right? But it's just a fun factoid that I learned once.
Close. We were close to getting the public option too under Obama, but there was a Maine senator, I think, a Republican Maine senator who they couldn't convince her to. It was a woman to come to vote for the public option. I think that was it. I believe.
I don't know if we were as close. Like I think that like there was some real big Democratic opponents to the public option at the time. But
Lieberman was an opponent.
But again, that was years ago, and I don't know. But I do want to say, right, that we are in a precarious position in America right now, and things are going to get tough before they get better. If you're suffering from the shutdown, I'll just say this. If you're on SNAP benefits and you're in my audience and you need assistance, like if you like you can't afford groceries for your kids or something, reach out to someone, whether that be local or hell, DM me. I can't promise I can pay your bills, but I can maybe connect you with someone who might be able to, like, I don't know, buy you some food. I don't know, but we got to help each other out. Okay, so I want to make it clear that, like, again, I'm not rich by any means, but if you need help and you're desperate, reach out to someone, and hopefully, like, whether it be a food pantry in your area or a local church or a local community project that is helping people, try, right? Don't despair. People want to help you. So
I'm low income, but so I can get along without food shelf, but they help to stretch the dollars.
Yes.
But I can get by without it. Well, I'm also transgender, so I worry about that, the demonization. However, I do live in Minnesota, and the political situation here is a lot better than that. But I worry about these things. But anyway, I hope you have a good Halloween,
happy
and
Halloween.
Give the kids lots of candy and fatten them up, because we might have to eat. We might have to eat them. We might have to eat the kids.
Well, thanks for calling in. Okay, see you later. Hello, you're live.
What's up, everybody?
Hello.
What's going on, Mr. Wick?
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to you too, man. Do you have any? Let me ask you. I'm going to start this by asking you: do you have a favorite costume from your youth?
Ooh. I once dressed up as a wolfman, okay? And I think it was great. I was the wolf, and the person I was with at the time was Red Riding Hood, and we got the collar thing, okay? And they had me on a leash, and that was funny. And we went to, everyone liked the costume. It was really well done.
Okay. What age?
20?
20? Man, I said your youth.
That is my youth. I'm 42 years old. That was 22 years ago. That's my youth.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're the same age. All right. So.
If you're talking about when I was like a kid, like when I was like 8 or something.
Well, you can meet in the middle. So, like, I was like 15. All right, and I went as Richard Nixon as a pimp. And it was pretty great. I got second heapings to all of the candy dishes.
Hell yeah.
All right, I got the choice like full size Snickers. All right, like what do you think of that?
You know what? The full size Snickers were the best. Okay, those candy bars, the ones who had the whole ass candy bars, not those fun size bullshit.
Correct.
The best. Okay, not that I wouldn't take the fun size stuff, but you know, we knew which houses to hit. Okay.
Yep. Okay, so now that the fun's out of the way, let's retread something here. All right.
Okay.
The Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson thing, to me feels like when you're watching the polar ice caps melt, like a gigantic piece just fell in the ocean. Another one, right? Each one is more startling than the last. I'm gonna posit something to you, and I'd like to hear your honest answer with minus any context. Just answer the question at hand. All right. Let's say that Kraft Foods started putting in a chemical into their foods that was legal, that was FDA approved, but it started changing people's bodies at a fundamental level. But it's legal.
How? Like, what are we talking about?
Okay.
Like, are we growing another toe? Are we?
No. Let's say it was neurochemistry. Okay. Let's say there was just a trickle of a chemical that was getting introduced to the brain that stimulated your amygdala 0.1% every couple of months. All right.
Like making us addicted to the food?
Well, not necessarily. Well, I mean, like the chemical itself isn't addictive. Maybe it just tastes really good, and that's why everyone likes it.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
It's irrelevant. Well, what's happening though is that we are getting progressively angrier and angrier, but it's all legal.
Okay. So if it's messing with our brain chemistry in a harmful way, and it's something we're ingesting unknowingly into our bodies, then I think that the FDA should take steps to ban that chemical from being in the food.
Okay. Well, now I want you to replace that chemical with social media.
Okay. I think that there are fundamentally different ideas here because
why? It's legal. It's a foundational value, that free speech, right? Like you also have the right to choose whatever you eat. You have the right to destroy your own life.
Okay.
You do.
But here's the thing. Okay. The difference is the FDA can easily craft a law banning a specific chemical from our foods that would keep us safe, that wouldn't have any outward effects, that wouldn't be stretched. That is far harder to do with things like Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson. These are fundamentally different things, and while one is easy to target and isolate and identify, the other is much, much harder to do so, and there is a much, much greater risk of that law or regulation or whatever tool we craft to be used by bad actors to hit things that we don't want hit.
But I don't see much of a difference between that and our food sources. I mean, come on. Everybody knows that obviously eating processed foods is not good for you, right? Everyone knows that not getting enough of your vegetables, proteins, healthy proteins, mind you, your unsaturated fats rather than your saturated fats, etc. Right? But
Sure.
it's ease of access, right? It's ease of it, like where right wing political commentary is, and I mean, and far left for that matter too. I hate granting and ceding
Okay,
any
it's
ground.
not, but you're oversimplifying this because it's not just ease of access, right?
It is though.
If-
it is. It's you can
That
pull out
is
your
one
phone.
of the issues with it, with the chemical I'm talking about. But there are other issues with the chemical. And again, it's a far easier solution for the chemical. No one's rights are being violated by banning this chemical. However, when you ban speech or try to make a regulation to remove speech of a certain sort, again, it's just there's too many confounding variables. It's much harder, and you risk taking people's fundamental rights away in a way that is not the same when you do it with a chemical. I don't think these are analogous. You muted yourself.
Oh, sorry about that. I was going to say, why is it not illegal to drink turpentine?
Why is it not illegal to drink turpentine?
It will kill you, but it's not illegal to consume it.
I think it is. It is illegal to commit suicide.
No.
Illegal.
It's illegal to commit suicide. But what if I just had a sip?
Okay. I mean, sure.
Please understand the through line I'm connecting here, right? Like, we have the right to destroy our own bodies. We have the right to destroy our own minds. That's why we sell alcohol, right? That's why we sell tobacco. Okay? And this is someone is nicotine addicted. All right? Fortunately, I'm down to the Zyn pouches, and we'll see what happens with that in about 15 years.
Uh-oh.
But I have the right to ruin my own life. That's one of the rights that we grant to people, as long as it doesn't bleed as long as it doesn't bleed over into other people, which is what we have laws for. Blah blah blah.
I understand. So, like, I guess if you wanted to, like, do that, fair enough.
These people are ruining their own life, but it's impacting everyone else. This is the through line I'm trying to draw here.
Okay, but when you say these people, do you mean Tucker Carlson or do you mean his viewers?
Oh, it's both, quite frankly. I mean, it's, like if a con man cons you, he only conned you, right? And everyone else that he managed to get to buy their bullshit. But these people vote with this obviously.
So does the person drinking turpentine? Should we ban the person who drinks turpentine from voting?
I think you'd have a good argument to say yes to that.
What about smokers? Should we ban smokers from voting?
Yeah. Now we're in the gray. Yes, I get your point. You know what I mean? We're in the gray area in that, right? But at the same time, though, nobody is voting to allow more use of tobacco because everyone knows it kills you. Everyone, like, you just have to cope with the fact that it kills you.
Well, no.
Just
to be clear, there are people who want to get rid of the anti-smoking laws where you can't smoke in restaurants or public places. There are people, and I know them, right, who hate those laws. And if there was enough of them and they had the political will for it, would absolutely try to get it overturned. They exist, and they want that to happen, right?
I mean, it's sure, but like whether or not someone can consume a tobacco product is different than it being illegal to make trans people the new Jews in World War II.
Hold on, they're not making. Well, they do have issues with trans people, but they're
Careful,
saying the
easy.
Jews were bad. Like, Nick Fuentes is not comparing trans to Jews. He's saying that, like, the Jews are the Jews and they're the worst, and they're the response. Like, the trans people are because of the Jews. I think,
dude, I'm telling you, the consensus around. Remember, I live in a very red state. The consensus around everyone I've ever talked to, hundreds of people, all of them think transgenderism is a mental illness, and they need to be effectively, what's the word, euthanized, not physically, but euthanized from all rights, like basically to give them Dema status, like in Islam, right? You can live here, but it's only because we let you, type of thing. Like every one of them views them as non-human, effectively.
Okay.
Non-natural, non-human, right? That's like the sentiment that is felt. There's zero sympathy, zero
I
empathy,
understand.
right?
Okay.
They're treated as, if you see a trans person go in the women's bathroom, there goes a child molester.
Do you think crafting a law that says people who say this type of thing about trans people should not be allowed on TikTok or Twitch or X or social media? Do you think
No,
that that's going
I
to
don't.
help the situation? I don't think
I
it
don't have any.
will.
I don't have any metrics to help my case here. But the thing is I like to take the Anthony Fauci line when he was talking about COVID, when he got busted talking about how there's no gain of function research. Then it turned into no gain of function of concern, right? Which is always should have been the correct approach, is to say of concern, you know, because to the left, to the far left, you know, like like my sister is among one of them. I'm center left liberal, and I would ask her, okay, is there an acceptable level of racism in this country? And she would say, absolutely not. And I'd be like, okay, so I want you to tell me your grown up plan to make sure that there are not any racists within 200 miles of anywhere. So what are your choices? Like full authoritarianism to seek them out? Right.
I
Of
mean,
course
like,
not.
there are ways to make that happen, but they're going to be horrific, and we don't
Well, that's
want
my
them to
point.
happen.
That's why I said the grown up plan, right? We're not the Joffrey Baratheon plan, right?
Yeah.
So there's not one. Okay, so there must be a certain acceptable level. But here's the issue, though, is that implies there's an unacceptable level. Definitionally, there's now an unacceptable level of racism, which I think everyone would agree is true. Now, pinpointing
Well,
where
when
that
you
is,
say unacceptable, meaning what, right? Like, I think that any level of racism is unacceptable, but, right? I think that the ways to police that are more unacceptable. And so I'm willing to tolerate something that I do not like, racism, even though some racist jokes are funny. Let's be real, okay?
yes,
They're
of
very
course.
funny.
Because
But
they're like termites, dude. All I'm saying is like termites. Like you can't say, okay, there's a major problem when termites have completely eaten away the interior of your home, right? You can't then acknowledge, okay, now we have a problem. It's like, no. We can see this problem coming, and we need to squash the termites out. And I know what you're gonna say. Yeah, well, who gets to decide? Because the right could just say the same thing.
yeah, but what you're advocating for is like the termites are coming, they're going to eat our house, so let's burn it. No,
not
you're
burn it,
going to
not burn it,
destroy the house. Like the
stop
house
the
is going to be
termites.
destroyed with
No,
your
no.
plan.
No, let's stop the termites. That's all. You like there cannot be true free speech without some sort of rules to actually keep it grounded, right?
Well, I don't even know what that means. Like, keep it grounded.
Sure you do. Yes, you do. Don't be obtuse with me. Yes, you do. Okay. Think of it
Hold
any
on,
way as
no. You don't know what I don't know. You don't know what I know. I don't know, and I'm being real with you. When you say grounded, what do you mean? I'm trying to get you to elucidate so I don't assume incorrectly what you mean.
Okay.
And I want to know what you're talking about so we can engage, not with hypotheticals, but with your actual proposition.
All right. Let's do this. All right. How about this? Okay. Oh my God. Like it's so, I don't have here's the solution, bang. Okay. What I know, though, no different than I don't know how to disarm a nuclear reactor that's spinning out of control. But I do know it's spinning out of control. Okay? I'm asking for some sort of preventative measures to keep the thing from blowing up. That's all. And I see social media. I see the amplification of the Candace Owens, of the Hassan Pikers, of all of these fucking lunatics. This amplification machine that is blasting this deafening noise, and more noise is not good because you can't hear anything. Right?
I understand. I get what you're saying. There is a problem. Yes.
Yes, and I don't know how to disarm a nuclear reactor that's
Okay.
melting down. Okay.
No, I think that the problem with the analogy to nuclear reactor is that once it starts spinning out of control, it's probably going to blow and destroy us all. I don't necessarily think that even though this is a problem, that this is a life-threatening problem to the same degree. I think that there's real bad actors within the space that are pushing misinformation and disinformation, but I think that the counter to that is, and this is going to sound cliche, but it's just true, more speech, right? To drown out their noise with our noise, so to
And I'm
speak.
saying that hasn't worked. I'm saying that
We haven't
logic
really
has put us
tried
where
it.
we are.
Like, no, what we've been trying for the last 10 years.
Because the conservatives don't do that. They don't play the same game we play, right? And it's working. They're like they don't care. Like they don't care that Trump is the way he is. They don't care that JD Vance is the way he is. They think it's a feature, not a bug.
Okay.
They
No,
don't value
I
these
don't
things. And
disagree.
at this point, like, but then you can't play with each other anymore. You can't interact with each other anymore. Because if one side's always winning
But
in
they're
their
not.
mind,
This idea, okay, this idea that they're always winning is what I want to
in
contend
their mind.
with.
I said in their mind.
Okay.
In their mind, they're always
They
winning.
might, but I don't care what happens in their mind. I care what happens in reality. Like, look,
I know, me too,
there are
but that
people who are
translates to
just
the-
lost.
That translates to the voting booth.
Yes, but there are people who are just lost. And how do we win against people in the voting booth? We have more people on our side that vote. Like this idea that we've only tried it their way or by shouting them down with our own speech or whatever is just not true. One of the mistakes we made in the 2016s, 2014s, until about 2022, 2023, maybe a little before that, is this cancel culture stuff. The right isn't wrong about the cancel culture stuff, and it fed into the conspiracy theorists. It fed into their victimhood complex, and they said, look, they won't even let us talk about this. There must be something there. It backfired. It did not work. It just made that nuclear reactor spin faster when we tried to put the water on it or whatever, right? When we tried that way of doing it. So what I'm advocating for and what I'm telling you is that doesn't work. Shutting them down and making a law or crafting some sort of legislation to stop this isn't an effective solution. So we need to find something else because that's not it.
Well, okay. Let's and I know you're trying to say well, how about we just combat bad speech with good speech? Like, dude, I'm telling you, it isn't working. It just isn't working. And I know Trump's numbers are down, but this is why I heard an interesting theory. Tell me what you think about this, that the reason Trump is demoing the White House to put in his own, tacky, gaudy gold ballroom is because he's planning on never leaving. He's just going to turn it to Mar-a-Lago in Washington.
Look,
what are your thoughts about that?
I am never going to say that's not a valid concern, especially after January 6th. He's demonstrated that he won't accept the results of an election if it doesn't go his way.
Right.
And I think we do need to prepare for that, but
how would you recommend we prepare for that? And I'm not being confrontational. I'm serious.
do I want to do this on Halloween? Yeah, sure. I think if he refuses to step aside, he needs to be made to step aside. And yes, that means what you probably think it means.
What if he has a loyal military? Enough of a loyal military.
Then it's going to be much harder to do. But yes, if come 2029, January 21st, he has not vacated the premises, even though he's lost the election, there is then we have to do what we got to do. Okay.
Which I hear you. Believe me, I in my youth I was a legitimate anarchist, right? Meaning the political philosophy,
Now,
right?
until that happens, though, there is no justification, right, at all.
Sure, but man, I just
Because all we're doing is guessing, and you can't.
it just you get my worry though, bro. Of like it's like I'm standing on a highway and a bus is coming, and you're telling me don't worry, it'll
Yeah,
stop.
and also I don't think the military would stand for that. I think that if he tries that, I think every like I don't see a general who would stand by that, and I don't see like he might get a few weirdo servicemen, but I think almost across the board, every American would just push him out. There'd be a crazy core MAGA base, sure, but like I think that like at least 80% of Americans would be like, no.
I think it'd be well, and I think it'd be like the French Revolution, man. What I mean is just everyone would just storm. Every red state would turn into martial law, you know. Um, and every blue state would do what you're talking about, but every red state would just go full martial law.
I don't
mean,
know. I think that there are a
my
lot of people
governor-
who
my
are waiting
governor
for a
is such a-
chance to just fuck. Because
my-
I don't
my
think a lot
governor
of
is such a
Republicans
Trump
like
dick suck,
Trump,
dude.
honestly.
You don't think? I disagree in a big way. I think they all say the same thing of like, well, we can't say he's a good moral person, but look at the good he's trying to do. You know, they all have the same cope. It's just sickening.
Yeah, but this would be something different, right? This would be something of a scale that was January 6th. And we saw after January 6th, right? During January 6th, almost all the Republican leadership at the time, unfortunately, a lot of them caved after, but at the time, a lot of them were condemning that, right? A lot of Republicans still today condemn January 6th. So if that were to succeed somehow, right, in some hypothetical land, right, I just don't see most of the country standing by. I think most of them would rise up. But for that, we do got a bit of a line. Thank
I
you
know.
for calling
I know.
in. I'll talk to you later, okay?
Okay, dude. Bye.
Yeah, like, just to be clear, political violence in the context of American politics today, unacceptable. Unacceptable. But if someone decided to overturn a legitimate election and stay in office despite the will of the people and use military force to try to maintain power outside of the Constitution, guillotine hungry, right? Like, then it's okay. Then it's the moral choice. Then it's what you should do. But until that happens, don't. Do people disagree? Testy Johnson says, I think you'd let it happen, to be honest. Why do you think that? I don't know. Let's bring on the next caller. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
How's it going? Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. You get a lot of treats? Did you go trick or treat?
No, I'm an adult. I know I don't sound like it, but I am.
I believe you. I believe you.
All right. I have a question for you. Are
Okay.
you familiar with California Prop 50?
Yes, to do some gerrymandering and ostensibly to combat Republican gerrymandering in Texas and things like that.
Right.
And things like that. Yes, I'm familiar with it.
Broadly, do you agree or disagree with it?
Yeah, I think it's perfectly okay. Gerrymandering's always been a thing. We've always done it. The right's done it. The left's done it. And so if the right, look, if both sides wants to get rid of political gerrymandering, I'm all for that. But if one side wants to do it and the other side doesn't do it, they just lose. So I think it's perfectly acceptable, perfectly moral to do political gerrymandering when the other side's doing it. I think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, first of all, the good news is we have a debate because I don't agree with California Prop 50, even though
Okay.
I live in California.
Okay.
I agree. Like, you know, my positions. I'm a liberal, a leftist, like not a full-on progressive, but sure, I have some sympathies towards progressivism. I don't believe that Californians should have to dilute their vote for the Democrats' inability to reach out to Texans.
Well, it's not about reaching out to Texans and the Democrats' ability to reach out to Texans. The Texans, at least the argument goes, are making it impossible for the Democrats to move Texans because of the way they're being gerrymandered. Like, you can have a 60-40 split where 60% of the state votes red, 40% of the state votes blue, and they will try to get to 0 blue congressional representatives. And that is a way to kind of make it impossible for a political party to have a voice. Now, the argument is, right, that the blue states do this, and some do as well. I, if I had my way, would support a ban on political gerrymandering and just draw the lines like a grid is what I would do.
I'm in support of like having an independent election commission do the.
I don't know about that, right? But like some different way than a political gerrymandering, right? I don't like political gerrymandering.
I'm
I
open
think it
to
should be
ideas.
banned.
That was like one of the ideas.
But if you don't do it and the other side does, you just lose. And so we have to either both. It has to be both stop or no one stops.
No, I agree. That is the strongest argument to do that. But my problem is that, like, the Democrats are not good people in the sense that no politician is a good person, right? Like,
People
obviously
say that, but there are some politicians.
I'm just talking broad. Like,
okay,
don't
go ahead.
try and get me on like specificity and all that.
Don't try to use my words against me. Go ahead.
Yeah, like obviously they are way better than Republicans right now. But when all of this ends, the Californians, we are not going to get our votes back. Our votes will still be diluted.
Oh,
we've given up our rights for perpetuity to solve a temporary problem when it could be solved. Like you said, 60-40. What do you think would be the tipping point where Democrats would actually be able to win Texas?
Ooh, it'd have to. Well, it couldn't be 50-50. Like, when you say win Texas, do you mean congressionally? Do you mean the governorship? Do you mean Senate-wise? What are you talking about?
Like, whatever it takes to win the midterms.
So, I don't think we're going to win in the Senate, unfortunately. I think we just need more Democratic voters in Texas that we don't have. Now, we could win congressionally when we're talking about the House. If gerrymandering was done non-political, I think that we would gain a lot.
With the current lines in Texas, what do you think is the tipping point? Like, you gave an example, even if Republicans get 60%.
Well, they're gerrymandering it, so I don't know what they're gerrymandering it to precisely, but they're trying to eliminate, and they've said this, they're trying to eliminate Democratic House seats from Texas. That's the goal.
So, besides the metropolitan hubs in Texas, you'd think that there's no way, no matter what Democrats do, there's no way they can win any representation in Texas.
Oh no! Obviously, if they had I'm sure there's some ways. I just don't think it's likely. But I'm sure there's some messaging, some policy that could support. I just don't know enough about Texas politics to tell you what it is.
Here's my problem. With everything going on, with SNAP, the economy, with how ranchers are getting screwed, how farmers are getting screwed, how, sure, Texans are retarded. Like, we all know that. But if in this moment you cannot reach a tipping point with Texans, why the fuck do Californians have to take the hit? for the Democrats' inability to reach out to the voters there. Or
Well, it's
in
not
other red
just look.
states.
It's not just Texas. It's not just California that are doing this. A host of states are.
Yeah, like we're just taking the two biggest
Sure,
examples.
sure, sure. We'll
but,
take the
like,
two biggest examples. It's because if they don't, then the Californians will lose federally, right? Just any representation they would have in Congress is going to be offset and diluted by the Democrats in Texas losing their voice. So, and when you say, and I also take issue with you saying that they're not going to be able to get them back. We do gerrymandering all the time. The lines change every few years. Okay?
Yeah, but
so
there's
if we
no
change
way
it one way,
California's lines would
it's
be
not
changed.
impossible. Just let me finish. If we
Sorry,
change it
go
one
ahead.
way, it's by no means impossible to change it back.
There's no way in
once the thing's
California
over.
lines would be changed to like benefit the Republicans in the future if there were to be
Well,
like in 10 years, 15 years down the line that Republican policies.
Here's what I would
better.
Here's what I think will happen if the Democrats are able to win. I think that they're going to immediately try to pass legislation, and I would condemn them if they don't. But what they should do is immediately try to pass legislation that makes partisan gerrymandering illegal. And that means that either an independent commission or they just someone else, right? There's not a political committee, some independent party will come in and draw the lines and undo all this gerrymandered nonsense. That's what I would want to happen, and that's what should happen.
I'd like to hear it. I haven't heard anything like it. Can you point me towards like
this is the Democratic
like,
Party's line, right? That they want to ban, and they put legislation before to ban political gerrymandering. It's just been rejected. And so if they're able to win, they will get it passed. And now what will be the kicker is when they do have power, are they going to propose it? They should. And if they don't, that's condemnable. But they should do this. Now, historically, both sides have played the gerrymandering game, right? Like, and we've seen this for decades, longer than I've been alive, where both sides try to, and sometimes they mess this up, right? Sometimes they do it wrong. But both sides will try to politically game the system so that they have more representatives than they should be getting. Happens.
I mean, gerrymandering is I think it's like the single most powerful tool in the Democrats and Republicans like arsenal. There's no way any party who gets into power is going to give up gerrymandering. The party who's not in power will always say, "Oh yeah, we need to ban gerrymandering," and then as soon as they come into power, like why would you give away your like biggest
on this.
nuke that you have on the Electoral College?
I think you're black-pilled on this, right? Because I think
I am
that,
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I think that especially in today's political environment, I think that we have seen the danger of a trifecta of Republicans in Congress, right? To such an extent that I think that almost all Democrats, if not all Democrats, would be on board in just making some sort of legislation where we do not allow any party to have that much power, right? And we take it away and we put it in the hands of an independent body or commission. Now, there's problems with that too. It's not going to be a perfect solution, right? Who's independent these days, right? We'd have to figure out some sort of way to do that, to craft the specifics of the legislation. But I think we can do it. We can do something that's better than what we got today. And I think that the absurdity of what's happening in Texas and what's happening in California is going to be a wake-up call to voters to say, we don't want this. We're not going to vote for you or support you if you continue to do this. So let's give the ball to some independent party. But that's maybe I'm being naive. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say a couple points and then I do have to dip. So first of all, even if there is a reality in which the party in power wants to do away with gerrymandering, I think one of the more sort of blackpilling ideas is that, let's say Democrats come into power, the Texas public, not the Texas Republicans, not the government, the actual people in Texas would be that, yeah, we are willing to give up our power so that the Republicans can we are willing to dilute our vote so that Republicans can get into power. So at that point, it becomes people versus people, and not like, even if Democrats get all the seats that they need, all the votes that they need, you would see revolts in red states and vice versa. That is, for me, like a little bit of a blackpilling point. That at that point, it's not the government; it's the people who get motivated into.
Well, that's, I mean,
being
like, who do you think's going to vote for Prop 50?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That road to hell is paved with good intentions. Like, yeah, we want to kick out Trump, but that's at least California, I can say that at least they're asking the people to vote, and not like Texas where they've just passed a bill. And I think there are certain protections in California that
that's what Prop 50 is, doing away with those protections, right? Because there have been protections.
Oh, it's just doing away with it? Sorry, I thought it was just a vote on the new lines.
So the reason that they can't currently, California...
Holy crap, it's even worse than I thought.
California can't gerrymander too much because they put a law into place against or trying to combat political gerrymandering because they didn't want that to happen. Texas had no such compunctions, right? And so a lot of Democrats, Newsom included, are looking at this and saying, hey, this is political suicide. We are doing this.
That law is never coming back.
Yeah, this unilateral disarmament thing. We can't do that. And so we're going to need to get rid of this
protections
law.
Are never coming back if Prop 50 gets passed. They're never coming back. I cannot see a reality when those protections would come back.
Anyway, that's the situation on the ground. But
the last point I want to make is that even I have to do some reading up on this. It's like kind of like I've just been following it and have my thoughts on this, but I definitely need to read up. I would be willing to have a panel where panelists debate it out and I select who does the better job of convincing me. But that's up to you.
So you want to be the guy that everyone's got to pander to? I see how it is.
Basically, yes.
Yeah, I see how it is. Okay, thanks for calling in. I hope you have a happy Halloween, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, Zephyr?
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
I too would like it if people pandered to me. That would be great. That would be a nice thing. Usually it's people arguing with me, but that's, just the nature of the game. Let's bring in the next contestant. Hello, you're live.
Hey, big dog, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. What's up?
Not too much. Is my camera on?
Your camera is on. We can see you.
Beautiful. Yeah, buddy, at first I was going to come in here and argue with you about how you have no idea how to communicate with conspiracy theorists, but you've done a really good job with the past 5 callers. I want to point out an opportunity for you where you could point some of that energy at Candace Owens and people like that. It would be very effective.
If Candace Owens wants to come on my show, I will engage with her, right? But since she won't,
I don't think that you only need to do it via one-to-one conversations. I think that you were so skilled at deflecting the idea that we have a trans Holocaust going on, which
we
is
have
a
a trans Holocaust.
Nut job.
Okay, what? Speaking of conspiracy theories, a trans Holocaust. Can you explain what you mean by that?
What I mean is what one of your callers said. I want to say about 10 minutes ago.
I don't know if he said, maybe I missed that. Did he say we had a trans Holocaust? What did he
being euthanized, exterminated Republicans once?
Oh, the Republicans don't like the trans people. Yes, Republicans don't like.
No, the word was
people.
euthanize. That doesn't mean don't like. Euthanize means kill, Wick.
Well,
I know that the left has been somewhat on somewhat shaky grounds with vocabulary because it's fun to twist words and use that for political effect. But euthanize does mean kill.
Okay,
I don't think that's changed.
I would disagree with him that that people are trying to just euthanize all trans people. I think that's wrong. I don't think that's happening. I do think that people want trans ideology to be stigmatized and to be whatever trans ideology means to them, mind you, right? And I think that the people are trying to oppress trans people in various ways, but I don't think that there's like a trans Holocaust going on now.
That's what I'm talking about. Is you didn't need to have that guy. I mean, you did it previously. You were talking to him earlier, so you don't necessarily have to have. Maybe it's the practice that does it for you, but he doesn't need to be on with you at this very moment for you to, again, very artfully kind of just deflect the idea that we have a trans Holocaust. I'm just wondering if you could think of a way to point that at the idea that.
I got to be real. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Can you just say it?
Sure. Man, you just miss a lot of really valid questions as just like from the root as being conspiracy theories. And I've been down those roads before. It's really ineffective at getting people, that sneering condescension is really ineffective at getting people to change their mind. Because there's usually, the way conspiracy theories often work is you present a few nodes of information that people can very easily verify and that are true, and then you add a bunch of details that they can't immediately verify, but do fit with those other nodes of information that they have some kind of relative confidence in. And then you let them fill in the blanks. And that's how you get like this cinematic universe.
I think I see the issue. I don't want, there are certain people that I recognize I am not going to be able to convince. I'm not going to be able to reason them out of their, or logic them out of their position, or convince them, or change their minds. And when I have decided, right, and I could be wrong on this, and I try not to put many people in this camp, but there are a few that like, oh, I'm never going to be able to convince you. I'm never going to be able to reach you for a wide variety of reasons, right? Maybe I lack the skill level. Maybe it's just that your brain's just rotted from the core and there's no helping you, right? A lot of different reasons this could be the case. Instead of my condescension is a tool to make sure that other people don't start believing your nonsense. I turn you into a fool because I want you to look foolish, because I think that is a effective way of making sure that people don't listen to what you're saying. Because if I think that a lot of conspiracy theorists do have nodes of truth, right? And I even said this earlier, not all conspiracy theories are incorrect. Some turn out to be true, and that's why I would not craft any legislation or any regulation banning conspiracy theories, because sometimes conspiracy theories actually end up being correct. But when we have people saying things that I know are not true, right, and trying to connect dots that cannot be connected in any rational sense, then I think it's perfectly acceptable and perfectly fine, because, again, I don't think I can convince them out of this, to just point this out and make them look foolish. I think that's okay. I think that's effective.
It's not effective. It's a problem. Because you're pointing out things, again, because they start from easily verified data, like, oh, shoot, Josh Hammer lied about the Charlie Kirk text. Actually, there was a growing sense of dissatisfaction with TPUSA. There were donors pulling out. There were people very upset at the idea that he might platform Dave Smith and Tucker Carlson. And there were people basically financially threatening him and saying, shoot, we gotta do this.
Yeah, I don't think that anyone denies that. And I don't think that anyone,
before the texts were released. Yeah.
I mean, maybe
you
people
have updated your position.
Hold on. Because a lot of people, such as Candace Owens, have demonstrated that they're untrustworthy. People ask for evidence before they're able to just trust their word. I don't think that's the same thing as simply refusing to believe something that's true. We didn't know it was true until the text got released, and then once we saw the text got released, that's fine. But
no,
they're going further. You know, they're going further than that, right?
Released.
They're not just saying.
You knew that it wasn't true before the text got released. That's
I didn't know whether it was true or not.
Sure, you did, because you dismissed it as conspiracy.
That's not what I was dismissing as conspiracy. I'm dismissing as conspiracy the idea that Jews
to the root
killed
of this
Kirk.
Conspiracy.
Let's be real clear. The conspiracy that I am dismissing specifically is that the Jews, Mossad, Israel, whatever you want to call them, killed Charlie Kirk. I think that's a conspiracy that has no foundation in reality and should be dismissed. And I am condescending towards it because it deserves my condescension.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's a perfectly reasonable idea to. I mean, if I had to pick a country to kill a public official or a popular influencer on American soil, like my short list would be countries which had already done that, especially if it offered them some kind of political benefit. So I don't think it's totally unreasonable, out of the water. I'm just imagining, like, describing to you the USS Liberty incident, like a day after it happened. It's like, they shot our boat? No, come on.
No, that's eminently believable that in the heat of a battle that there would be some blue on blue. Like, that's happened. That happens.
Heat of a battle.
Right?
Ship
Yes.
Day out. No targets anywhere near it. Clearly identified. Like a day beforehand.
I'm just saying, well, what do you think they hit U.S. Liberty for? Why do you think they did that? I'm just curious.
I don't have to come up with a motivation for it. They
Okay,
did it.
well, I acknowledge it happened, so the question becomes why? Was it an accident or
No,
was
it
it on
doesn't.
purpose?
The question becomes why, if you would like to. Your question is, how do I deflect from this in some way so that you give me an insane answer and I can then go back to sneering condescension? But I actually never have to give a motivation for somebody else when I've observed, either directly observed or we just have a foolproof historical record of somebody doing the thing that I'm pointing out.
So
I
if we
don't
have a
need to
foolproof
invent some
historical
motivation.
record, I'm talking video evidence, fingerprints, evidence at the scene, that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk, do you think it would be crazy for someone to suggest that really it was the Jews that did it?
I don't think anybody's suggesting the Jews that did it. I think they mentioned Israel, which is a country, a state. It's not a nation. Maybe a little bit of both, but you know.
Anyone other than Tyler
The
Robinson.
point being, yeah, no. If we have foolproof historical evidence, then yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think we do in this case. And this is why I'm being condescending, is because we have video. I've seen the video. We have fingerprints. I haven't seen the fingerprints, but I don't think that they're lying about this. We have video of the incident.
Is he clearly identifiable as Tyler Robinson in that video, just to be clear?
It looks like
Are you
him,
adding that on?
right?
What do you mean it looks like him? Hold on. Is he clearly identifiable?
Yes.
Okay. How? Like, what video are you talking about? The video on
The
the roof? I
screenshots.
know you're not talking about the
Did you
video
not
on
see the
roof.
screenshots that they shared everywhere? Right, about they were a person of interest. Here's a person of interest we're looking for. They showed a screenshot
Had like a
of
beanie,
him.
the sunglasses,
Again,
and stuff like that.
His dad. This is how this happened. This is how he got caught. His dad recognized him. Obviously, he was clearly identifiable because his dad recognized him, confronted him about it, and they had this. It eventually
I'm
turned him
asking
in.
If you clearly, if you're saying that you clearly recognize him from those photos, that's what I'm asking.
Yes, having seen Tyler Robinson, like at the time I didn't know who he was, obviously, right? But having seen Tyler Robinson and seeing the photos and stuff, looks like the same guy to me.
Sure. I think that there's a video of him at a Dairy Queen that's supposedly like 17 minutes away, 15 minutes after the shooting it supposedly happens. I don't know the veracity of that because, again, it's one of these things where I could look at a video of somebody who is very clearly identifiable. No mistaking, it's Tyler Robinson at this Dairy Queen, but I didn't go on Google Maps myself to check how long it was. I didn't go back to see what the traffic situation was. I didn't verify if it's actually 17 minutes away or if there's some other explanation for how he could have gotten there. But those are the things that get filled in those are the blanks that get filled in by people who are of a conspiracy brain mindset, we'll say. And people who are conspiracy brain, I don't need to overcomplicate it. Why am I doing that?
Well, I guess I'll just ask you directly. Do you think that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk?
I'm going to wait till the end of the trial.
Okay. Thanks for calling in, Ash.
Is that fucking unreasonable? Is that unreasonable? Wait till the end of the fucking trial?
I think that before we convict him
Have we ever
and
had
send
fall
him
guys
to
or political
prison or
patsies for
execute
fucking
him,
assassinations
I think
before?
that is a reasonable thing. But I don't think I think it's also reasonable to look at the evidence at hand and without a trial, make some reasonable inferences and say, he
Don't have
probably
all the fucking
did
evidence, dude. Sure. But I just brought up something to you. Hey, there's supposedly a mismatch in the timeline. There's supposedly this error in the timeline.
I know
And
you said
again,
it, but
I
you've
haven't
also said
looked
that
at
you've
it.
no proof of this, and so well, I just dismissed it because
No, I didn't say I have
you
no proof of this. I
evidence.
said I did not go in to see if it's actually this long away or whatever. So I'm telling you that engenders doubt in my head. I think that's a reasonable thing to do. I would like for people to just say, hey, wait a minute. No, that Dairy Queen's like 5 minutes away. There's a timestamp here. This is deep faked. Candace Owens. By the way, I don't trust Candace Owens with anything. I don't know if you remember Social Autopsy from the Gamergate days.
I don't.
The entire right-wing media apparatus swept that under the rug for her. But she ran a doxing website on behalf of people like Brianna Wu and Zoe Quinn back in the day. And she didn't get any traction on it. So, so she switched sides about 2 years later. This is not a trustworthy person. I've explained, I thought in pretty great detail, how these people seed conspiracies in the minds of others.
It's by just asking questions, bro. And then that is crayon grape for those who
No, they had a little bit of truth first.
Well, yeah, no, you
That's the
put
requirement.
dots and then you connect them, and it's the connections that
you
seem to
connect the
be
dots.
incorrect. But thank you for calling in. I'll talk to you later.
All right, buddy. Stop.
It's a very easy question. Do you think Charlie Kirk was killed by Tyler Robinson? The evidence seems to suggest to me that it is. If you have evidence that doesn't suggest it, show it to me. Just don't tell me about it. Like, I heard that he was at Dairy Queen. Cool. Can you show me? I don't know. Last caller, I guess. And gang, before I bring on this caller, give me some treats. Okay, we've had a lot of trick callers, okay? But can we get some treat super chats? Can we get some treat gift subs? Can we get some treat memberships gifted to people? Can we get any of that? Make my day a little brighter. It's the last day of the month. Really help out. Gift subs on Twitch or something. That would help out as well. Really appreciate it. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, what you got?
Nothing. Honestly, this is the first time that I was in the backstage and you were well live. Most of the time, I catch you after ending the live stream.
Oh, well, you're live now. What? Anything you want to say? Well, to my audience or me?
Honestly, the first question: how is my English? Because I'm not a native English speaker.
I can understand you. Yeah.
No, how's my accent? How does it? What do you feel?
You have an accent, right? But it's not like overbearing or overwhelming. But you have an accent, absolutely.
What do you think I'm from? Just from my accent, I want to know because it's the first. I actually don't speak English a lot, so it's the first time.
Oh, that's very hard for me to tell. Where are you from? Just by your accent alone.
I learned most of my English. I've learned it from movies and YouTube. Honestly,
I would guess you're from probably some Eastern European country.
Not actually. Most of my English I've learned from watching new movies and reading subtitles from anime. Because honestly, learning English from the school didn't help much because
Fair.
It doesn't help learning actual language.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you, aka Batozai, for the 10 Wick TV gift memberships. It's a great treat. Thank you, Alexander Rin, for $5 to say, honestly, with the people currently running the show, I'm surprised that you take so much of the administration's releases as factual. And then $5 from Supreme Grow to say, enjoy this fun-sized treat. Happy Halloween, Wick, and chat. Well, thank you for that. The reason I believe, just real quick, and then I'll let you go. Alexander Rin, the reason I believe the Tyler Robinson evidence is because this evidence has come out that, like, it's verifiable. Like, again, they released a photo of the guy. I've seen the photo, right? I've seen the guy. Looks like the same to me. I don't know what motivation they would have to fake this evidence. It doesn't seem like they need to do that. The text messages and things, they read normal to me. All of this doesn't seem like a setup. It doesn't ring any huge alarm bells in my head. Now, I would love to see evidence about the people they're killing in the boats. I haven't seen any evidence of that. and that's a problem for me. But anyway, sorry, caller. Go ahead.
Honestly, I didn't hear what you were talking about previously in the beginning of stream. So, what were you talking about? Is there anything to talk about?
We
Because,
were talking
like I
about
said, this is the first
all
time.
and sundry. It's a call-in show. It's whatever you want to talk about,
Okay.
sir. It's your
Okay.
it's your
Since
time.
I'm not into Warhammer or anything like that, but I know you are. So, what do you think about Warhammer right now? Do you think it's the company and the direction they're going is good, bad, okay, not okay, neutral, not neutral, positive, negative? What do you think?
Sure.
If simple,
Look. I
since you like it.
love
I'll ask you about.
Warhammer, but I hate Games
Yes.
Workshop. I think Games Workshop is not good for the customer
influencers,
base.
though,
They aren't good for their customers. They haven't put out a lot of real good customer-oriented products. That said, Warhammer as a game and as a IP,
Yes.
I think it's very engaging. I like a lot of the novels that they put out. I also like a lot of the fan videos and things that they put out. But the company itself, trash.
Oh, by the way, I want to ask: have you watched any anime?
I've watched
Anything?
some anime because people keep telling me I should
Which
love
ones?
anime, but I don't watch a lot because I don't love anime.
Okay, which ones have you watched, and whether you liked it or not?
Which ones have I watched? I tried Shield Hero. That was all right for a couple episodes, but I didn't like it. It went weird. I liked the one I liked.
The girls have aged up.
The anime I really liked. Okay, the one that I thought was great for most of it was Death Note.
Okay.
I thought that was very well done. There was some, I guess.
It's weird in the ending. It gets
weird, the end kind of got weird. But look, to be clear, a lot of shows and a lot of books do endings poorly. So I don't hold that against anime specifically.
If you think about Death Note, if he just lived a normal life while killing people by writing their name in a book, no one would ever know. He just had to insert himself. If you think about it, if he lived a normal life, the guy with the Death Note, he went to normal jobs and just wrote the names.
Yeah, but
of people
the whole point was he wanted the
Yeah.
kind of power and the prestige that came
No.
along with it. He wanted
Yes,
to
no,
test himself,
yes.
to challenge himself. He was arrogant. Right?
Yeah, I know, but if you think about it, if he lived a normal life, and let's say at the end of the day when he comes from work, he watches the news, we see whatever a criminal or something that deserves to be killed, writes their name, and then continues. No one the wiser. Like even if he married someone and everything, everyone it will be just a note. Everyone would even think if they found the note, they would think he was writing the names of people that are already dead because it takes 5 minutes to activate. So by the time even if someone accidentally finds the note, they would just think he's writing the names of the people who are already dead. So it would be weird. He would never be found out. He was just normal, a bit normal.
Yeah, but
Just
he
a
wasn't
bit
normal, and that was the whole point. And that's what made it for an interesting show, I think. It would be boring if he did it correctly.
Yeah, it would be boring, but by that time he would really control though, because no one would ever find him.
Okay, I call this the talking sponge issue. Right?
Wow,
And
it's
the reason
true.
I call that is because
Oh,
a lot of people will
what's
be
the talking
things like,
sponge?
SpongeBob, they have a fire underwater. A fire could never exist underwater. And I just look at him like, it's a show about a sponge that talks. Why are you trying to? Why are you thinking about this? Right, this is obviously not the thing.
I get it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
what other anime have you ever watched, or just Death Note and you think it's good? The others are shit.
I can't think of one that, other than that I was really. I guess Full Metal Alchemist was okay, but it wasn't like the
Okay.
best ever.
I've watched. Well, okay. Let's talk about this. And what movies have you watched lately that you think are good, or the latest movie have you watched?
The latest movie that I watched was The Long Walk, and it was pretty good.
Okay.
$10 from
Okay, is
Alexander
that-
Rin, just real quick, to say pictures can be manufactured, message strings can be faked, and those sounded stupid fake. Not saying he wasn't, but I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't. So Alexander Rin, I read those text messages. They don't sound fake to me. I've talked to people like that before, right? Well, not that I'm about to kill someone, right? Obviously, but the way that they talked isn't entirely strange to me. I'm sure it could have been fake, and the pictures could be manufactured. I just don't think the likelihood that they are is very high. Okay. Anyway,
Oh,
thanks for calling in.
are
buddy.
you, are you, oh,
Yeah, thanks.
oh, sorry.
Thanks for
Is
calling
that-
in, and I'll talk to you later. Okay.
oh, okay. Can I ask you something?
Yeah. One more thing.
Oh, okay. That nationalism thing you did, I didn't listen because it was too boring. I'm sorry, but the conversation after that, I listened to it. It was amazing. It was amazing. Anyway, just saying. Honestly, when you talk on streams, I listen. It's fun. Just when you talked about because saying nationalism and I'm gonna educate you on something, it felt annoying. So I didn't listen to it because especially when you showed text and began reading from text, now that was just boring. So I'm sorry about that.
It's
I'm
so
just saying.
you can find some of my shows boring. That's okay.
No,
Okay.
no, just not. No, to be honest, just that. The other ones,
The
even when you
only
just
that's the
talk
only
and
show I've
talk,
ever done that you found
yeah,
boring.
yeah, because you just read. You guys said, I'm saying the history. People, I'm gonna read the history and how they defined and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just meh.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
even when you talk and ramble and about other things that you're just rambling, it's okay. It's fun. It's nice to listen to. But just that one because you are reading different historical definitions and stuff like
And
that.
I think that's probably why we're in the problem we are, is because so many people
Because people
find
don't read. Yeah, no, I get it.
reading and facts boring. But I'll talk to you later, okay, buddy?
Oh,
See you
sorry.
later. Yeah, look, I get it. Not all my shows are for everyone. I understand. Like, there are some shows I do that I'm like, that's kind of boring. I won't tell you which ones, obviously, but you could probably tell. So that's fine, yeah. But I think I enjoyed the research stream, actually. And I know it didn't make me a lot of money, but I had fun. It's making me more money than today is, unfortunately. I guess all you guys are, I don't know. Today and yesterday has been very slow, but I still love every single one of you for showing up. $5 from Bubs. Rent is due, but thanks for the show. Beard looking luscious despite lack of costume. Sorry, message weird. Keyboard sucks. Happy Halloweeny. Thank you, Bubs. You guys want to hear a Halloween joke? Why can't witches and warlocks have babies? Because warlocks have crystal balls and Halloweenies. Dunch. Okay, Halloween joke. Alexander Rand for $5 says, just to be clear, I'm not saying the likelihood is high. What I'm saying is that our agencies are led by streamers and the administration is corrupt. That's true. And we can tell when they lie about things that we have evidence that contradicts what they're saying. For example, when Kristi Noem comes on and lies that says ICE has never wrongfully detained an American citizen, we know that's untrue, right? We have evidence that that's the case. If you present to me solid evidence, not conjecture, not connect the dots evidence, right? Not supposition, but solid evidence that Tyler Robinson did not kill Charlie Kirk, I will listen. But all the evidence I've seen points otherwise, and all the evidence that is attempting to paint out this conspiracy theory, I know to be untrue. A lot of them use, again, my buddy, who I know in real life. Like, I've met this person in real life. Staxiums. He's not part of a conspiracy to kill Charlie Kirk. I promise you. 100%. $5 from Gelatinous Rube to say, Wick, let's do a lefty pro men panel sometime. What? Look, I'm always down for the pro men panels, okay, buddy? But I'm really curious what you say is a lefty pro men panel. I'm curious what your definition of lefty is in this. Kamikaze's joke. Here's Kamikaze's joke. It says, why do skeletons like telling jokes? It tickles their funny bone. It's very humorous. Da-dunch. We got them all day, boys. We got them all day. Zonia for the $20 says, take my money, please. Just please don't tell any more Halloween jokes, please. Oh, well, nobody tells Wick what to do. I'll take your money, but nobody tells Wick what to do. Nobody. $10 from Alexander Renner says, well, to be fair to that, we've been shown zero evidence to the contrary because they haven't had the opportunity to present their case. Just saying we've only seen the prosecution side, and true. And I think that he should and deserves a fair trial. And we will see in court if he has evidence to the contrary. I will be as open-minded as I possibly can. But if you ask me right now, today, who do I think killed Charlie Kirk? Who does the evidence that I have seen point to? It is Tyler Robinson. That seems to be the evidence at hand. His dad, remember, turned him in because he thought his son was guilty. I don't know. I don't think it's a huge stretch. We can't let the fact that people lie. Okay, let me put it this way. After the Iraq War, okay, a lot of people said America lied to get us into the Iraq War. The intelligence lied, and I'm never trusting American intelligence again. Okay. It would be just as foolish to always trust the American government as it would be to never trust the American government. Okay? Both of these positions are foolish positions to take. Thinking that they never lie or that they always lie are both fallacious. You have to look at the evidence they present and use your judgment as well as corroborating evidence from other sources to make a decision on these things. So this what got a lot of people screwed up about Ukraine. I remember I was streaming back right before February. I think it was in January. We were having these streams like, is Russia going to invade Ukraine? And Hassan and a bunch of lefties were saying, no, they're not going to invade Ukraine. They'll never invade Ukraine. That would be silly. They have no interest in invading Ukraine. These are just military exercises. And I heard, like, left, right, and center were telling me this, right? Like, oh, the American intelligence? Believing American intelligence after Iraq. Oh, crazy. And these people looked like fools afterwards because I was right to the T on this. I correctly predicted and had a better understanding of the facts at hand and with better predictive powers than they did. Not that they took any hits, reputationally, unfortunately, but it's, again, you can't just never trust the government, and you shouldn't always trust the government. You need a balanced approach. $10 from Gelatinous Rube to say, I'm 100% serious, homie. I'll give you the best anti-patriarchy argument you've ever heard. Heart. Thank you for the heart emojis. Thank you for the $10. Gelatinous Rube says, no, Wick, no, don't use this example, dude. Well, it's the correct example. It's what happened. I correctly predicted, and U.S. intelligence and other intelligence services also correctly predicted that, Ukraine is going to go in. Russia is going to go into Ukraine. They're planning to invade with guns, planes, bombs, soldiers, everything. And they were like, yep, they're invading in the next few weeks. And a lot of people on the left were like, oh, that's stupid. That's just the American government lying to you again. The American government lies on occasion, but it's a lot more rare than people think. I will even give you, under the Trump administration, the honesty rate has plummeted. True. But we know that because we can look at the evidence and have corroborating evidence. It would be a mistake to never believe the Trump administration. That would be a mistake. Wick, did you see Vance's Halloween costume? Yeah, he dressed up as Fat Vance. It was okay. Look, I feel bad. I didn't get you guys a good costume. Okay, I do. I feel bad. You guys deserved a better Halloween stream from me, but, you know. We're getting through it, gang. We're getting through it. He did a video too? I haven't seen the video. DM me the video. I'm curious. I'll watch it on stream, and that'll be one of the last things we watch. Throw me the DM of the video. I want to see it. We'll watch it together. Give it a sec, gang. Here he goes. Okay, you guys ready?
Happy Halloween, kids, and remember, say thank you.
Okay. I thought it was going to be more involved than that. You know, he's a vice president. He could at least get some fat face, okay? Just chub out those cheeks a little bit. It was fine, though. Wasn't terrible. Wasn't terrible. Yeah, just get some fat. Like, I don't know, stuff a pillow down his shirt, okay? Do you guys think that JD Vance is going to be the front runner in 2028? I don't know if he is. We'll see. I don't think that people will rally around him. I think DeSantis has got it this go round. I could be wrong. I thought this about DeSantis before, and I was wrong. So who knows? What are the other serious contenders? DeSantis would be one. Vivek Ramaswamy might run again. I don't think he's a serious contender, unfortunately. Marco Rubio. Who else? That's what I got on my mind right now as serious contenders. But we're still, what, 2 years, 3 years out? DeSantis L. True, for trying to hide his lifted boots. True. Look, I just know that a lot of people are wanting something different on the Republican side, and DeSantis is that something different. But... Okay, gang. I think that's it for tonight. Tune in next week. We got some great shows coming up. We're going to talk about immigration, healthcare for illegal immigrants. Should that be a thing? We're going to talk about SNAP. Okay? Should that be a thing? And should they allow unhealthy foods to be on SNAP? Great. Generic Play says, Wick, do you think the shutdown is a both sides issue? What do you mean by that? I think that the shutdown is the responsibility of the Republicans. However, when you ask me, are the Democrats going to give in? No, I don't think so. And are the Republicans going to go and give in? No, I don't think so. So in that sense, it's both sides. Neither side is going to give in until the public basically forces their hand. And I couldn't tell you which hand is going to be forced first. I couldn't tell you that. We'll see. And yeah, as Tessie Johnson says, there is a possibility that the Republicans just use the nuclear option, get rid of the filibuster, and just open it up by themselves. That is a possible outcome. Okay, Generic Plays. Well, what did I say earlier that had you concerned? I hope everyone has a great holiday, and I will see you guys next week. Cool. Bye-bye.